And this webinar today will actually be somewhat of a repeat of information that we did 2 weeks ago. So we wanted to hold this second webinar as another overview of the entire show, what's expected, what will be entailed about registration, and a lot of details about the entire show. That will be information brought to you today by Nick Romeo, our chairman of the board of the Florida Attraction Association, and also Christina Schwartzman, who is our board treasurer with Sawgrass Recreation Park. So again, if anyone was on the first call and didn't realize that today will be a repeat of the same information, we hope that you join us on our third call. This is the second in an actual series of 4 webinars, all about the Tour and Travel Appointment Show. So without any further ado, I will turn things over to our chairman of the board, Nick Romeo. He will be giving you a lot of information with Christina today. And Nick, I invite you to join in.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
I can.
Loud and clear, Nick.
Well, welcome. I'm actually driving in my car today up from Palm Beach, so I'm not going to be able to visually see anything, but I am there to talk, and Chrissy's here also to go over everything. One, I want to thank everybody for coming on the call. These are starting to get very interesting. Everybody's getting very excited about this show, as we can see by registration, and thank you for coming on. The call today is basically, like Mike said, it's going to teach you guys how to develop everything you need for this show, and this is a repeat of the first one. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started, and then what we'll do is if you can hold your questions till the end, it would be greatly appreciated, and then we could do a Q&A, and Chrissy and I will be there to answer any questions for you, or if you have any other questions about the whole show in its entirety. So if we want to get started, Chrissy, if you need to take it over, and then I'll chime in as need. So I'd like to introduce Chrissy from Sawgrass Recreation Park.
Hi, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. There is a chat box also on the bottom of the phone. You are drop questions in there and it to everybody. So that
Can I just say something? Somebody's rustling papers or anything. If you could put yourselves on mute while Chrissy and I are talking, it would be great, and then we'll just come off mute when you need to. That might just help. Thank you.
So if you can ask any questions in the chat as we're going along, I'll try to answer them when I'm on the appropriate screen. But we can always step back and cover information that we've already gone through previously. So thanks for joining us. As Nick said, there is a lot of interest that is drumming up for the show. I know we have a good deal of suppliers signed up and already several strong operators, and Nick and I are working very hard to pull in as many buyers as we can for you that would be a good fit for all different businesses around the state and all different types of groups that could be coming in to your attraction. So what are we talking about when we talk about buyers or sellers of travel? So here's the different categories for registrations right now. This show is exclusively for Florida Attraction FAA member attractions, or DMOs can also participate, or tourism associates can join in on this show. So we are not opening this up to anybody else who is not already an FAA member or will be very shortly approved as an FAA member. So it's really a fantastic benefit of membership. It's not just any kind of show where anyone can pay to play. You have to be vetted by our association and determined to be a really quality attraction product in the state. And we are using that information when we're going to buyers and companies like Expedia to let them know that when they come to this show, they can really select from very quality products in order to expand their current attraction offerings. As far as from our side of it, we're going to get to meet with tour and travel companies that are either receptive operators, wholesalers of travel. They work as individual travel agencies. They deal with youth, senior, military markets. So we have all different kinds of people that we're going after on purpose, so that way we're really going to diversify the show and make sure that there's a good fit for everybody. Oops, sorry, I have no idea what just happened. Hang on 1 second, guys. I leaned on a button. Okay, here we go. All right, so we are currently on webinar number 2. This is a repeat of the first one, and we may hit a few different points on this one, but for the most part, we're going to recap all the information that we touched on on April 5th. The next two webinars, if you'd like to note in your calendars, it's going to be Thursday, May 3rd from 2 to 3 p.m. Nick and I are going to be going over some trade show basics to help get you guys ready to have all of your meetings. And then on Thursday, May 17th, we are going to do an in-depth prep for how to actually attend the show, how to conduct the meeting, all the materials that you'll need to make sure you have with you that day, and so on. The tentative show schedule that we have, let me go ahead and move some of these screens. I've got too much nonsense going on here. So the show schedule is going to be as follows. 8 to 9 a.m. is going to be registration and the continental breakfast. We're going to have 12-minute long appointment sessions with 3 minutes in between, from 9 to 12 and from 1 to 3, and a brief lunch in the middle. We are also going to have manual scheduling where we can essentially take our sticker with our name on it and fill into open slots that any of the buyers have at the kickoff of the day to make sure that everybody has very full and very busy schedules. That's our hope. Around lunchtime, I've been told that it will be a networking lunch, so not necessarily a working lunch, but more of time to socialize and get to know the buyers better outside of the meetings, which is what we all like to see. Okay, click over. Okay, so FAA member buyers. Okay, so what this means is that anybody who is a tourism associate member or anybody who is a member of the association that is a ticket reseller or tour operator can attend this show at no charge. We're utilizing this as a benefit of membership from their end as a way to get them to join our association, be active members so that you guys are around them more often so that you can meet them and develop a social relationship with them and hopefully grow your business. If they are non-FAA members, they are allowed to come in and attend the show as a buyer. There is a one-time fee of $350, and it includes an annual membership to the Florida Attractions Association. So it is an absolute benefit. So Nick and I are trying very hard to make sure that senior tours from Northern Florida, who does motor coach tours around the state, for example, wants to join our association and stick around and come to our breakout events around the state all year long and hang out with you guys and spend more time. So that's our ideal goal there. And then sellers of travel. So that's going to be us. It's going to be the attractions. And the cost for the one-day trade show is $250. This is a phenomenal benefit for us as members, as a benefit of our relationship with the Florida Attractions. This is fantastic. We attend many trade shows each year. I attend an average of 5 to a dozen of all different purposes, and they're never this affordable. They're never this cheap. So it's really nice that for the cost of one smaller group booking, we have the potential to get in front of several different buyers and perhaps contract a long-term relationship. So that's very important. Guys, please. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second.
If I could say that these, while Chrissy's changed it over, a lot of us go to these shows and have that opportunity, but with us not, some of our smaller attractions, who I'm hoping are calling in, this gives us that opportunity to get in front of those operators. So that's why we're doing this, is that small attraction possibility, but the big attractions are still going to be going also. I know Judy's on the call from Miami Seaquarium. We know you've been down to many shows. So we go from the big boys to the small ones are going to have the opportunity, the same meetings, the same opportunities, which a lot of the attractions don't ever get. So I just wanted to jump that in while Chrissy was still going on.
One of the reasons why Nick and I worked so hard with Bill to develop this trade show from the onset is that not only has the interest for these larger companies and even the moderate-sized ones to sell attraction activities in advance been growing in recent years, but more importantly, Nick and I are always hearing the questions of off the beaten path, smaller, unique, not necessarily for the masses, very individualized experiences. So we get these requests a lot, and people know that Nick and I work with the FAA, and so they're always looking for recommendations and connections. And so this is the avenue that we're hoping to create as a really great way for them to meet all of our paddling companies and canoeing and lighthouses and museums. We have so many phenomenal members. So this is actually one of the reasons why we came up with this show, is because Nick and I saw the growing need over the last several years. Now, what do we mean by a reverse trade show? So there's two different kinds. There's traditional, whereas attractions, we set up our posters, we have a table, and the buyers come up to us and we have our meetings. This one is going to be the opposite. It's personally my favorite type of trade show. It tends to be no frills, straight to business. There's no need for displays and elaborate things like that. The buyers are going to be seated with a nameplate and probably a table number or something like that. And we simply walk up to them, we sit down, and we talk business. We have 12 minutes. So there's enough time for us to give a brief overview of what our attraction can offer for different types of groups, as well as time for us to get to know them a little bit personally. That's always a goal of mine, is to make at least one personal connection with them during that time, and allow for a follow-up conversation to negotiate rates or discuss the type of business we could do together all throughout the year. So how do we get ready for the show? Well, one thing is to sign up for the 2 other webinars that we have coming up that Nick and I will be teaching in May. Streamlining and updating your marketing collateral. We're going to have a little more on that next in this presentation. I'm going to touch on some points. It'll probably be very old hat for many of you. You guys have excellent content out in the industry, and I'm not ashamed to say that I borrow from your content often. You guys are inspirational. So we're just going to cover that real quick to make sure you're prepped on that front. Creating a one-sheeter. We're also going to discuss that in just a few minutes here. Get comfortable with the rates that you're willing to offer, and get approval if you need it from upper management. So what Nick and I are wanting to make sure that is very clear to you guys and is understood is most of the companies that we are going to bring in, it's not going to be a one-off group of 15 people, most likely. They're going to look to bring you multiple groups throughout the year, possibly groups in larger volume like incentive travel. They will be looking to have net rates and possibly have a listing online 24 hours a day to resell all of the products that you offer. They are going to be looking for 20 to 30%. In some cases, may push for deeper margins if they're really talking high volume with you. So just make sure that, you know, at least 20 to 30%, you run it by your management, get comfortable with what your margins look like, your operational costs, and make sure that you are prepared, not necessarily at that appointment show. You may not get to actually talk true numbers at that show, but very shortly thereafter, you need to be ready to follow up with them on actual net rates that you are comfortable providing to group style business, motor coach style business, to an online listing that'll be for sale year round, 24 hours a day. So just make sure that you kind of put that on and feel it and make sure it feels right, and that your company is very comfortable with that so that you can move forward. It would be a shame to have these meetings and get some, you know, great conversation started, and then it has to stop there because your company doesn't want to offer more than $1 off a ticket or $2 off a ticket. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This side of the industry is not a good fit for every business. So that's important to remember.
Can I jump in, Christy, on that
yes,
for a minute? So Christy is talking about that 20 to 30%. Well, a lot of you might say, wow, that's a big discount on some items. Well, for some attractions it is, but for different operators, there's different levels. So like a receptive operator, I don't know if everybody knows what that is, but travel agents are usually buying from a receptive operator. There could be thousands of travel agents buying from a receptive. So the receptive needs a rate which they're going to mark it up, and then they're going to mark it up, okay? So if you give them only a $5 off your gate, they're not going to really want to work with that particular attraction, because by the time they mark it up and then it gets marked up again, they're probably exceeding your gate price, which you never want that to happen in the marketplace, because we don't want a customer to pay more than what they can get at our gate. So that's why we always say that 20 to 30% margin. And Christy and I are here to say, if someone says, well, what receptors should I work with and what percentages should I use, we're there to help you and recommend what you should be doing. So for the attractions that have never done this before, please ask us. We're there to help you so that you could understand it and bring it back to your owners. I just wanted to give a little bit on that, on how to determine on that before we go further. Okay?
Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. So the next, and again, Nick and I will dig deeper into that, and we will clarify that further in the next two. We'll spend more time talking about the types of buyers and the types of collateral you'll need for each buyer, and so on and so forth. The next thing you can do is register for the TnT show. We are super excited that I think at least between 10 and 15 attractions have already registered to take appointments. So that's really well on our way. We're hoping it's going to be a busy and successful day. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be launching the appointment scheduling portal so that you can build your profiles and go in and meet with the, read about the buyers' profiles as well, request appointments. So that way you make sure that you get to that day and you definitely have meetings that you can take and you can be rather productive. And then if you have any follow-up questions to this webinar in general, you can feel free to post them on the social media page for Florida Attractions for everybody to see the answer. Or you're always welcome to email me and Nick. Our emails are going to be at the end of this presentation, and we are always happy to help you one-on-one in case it's a question that you don't care to ask in a group forum. So we're just going to recover, we're just going to touch really quickly. This is something that Nick and I spent a whole session on in our marketing breakout seminar 2 years ago, but just about your content and your ads. Making sure that you've refreshed your print ads. They should be highly visual, a lot of motion, a lot of action. So we, on the left, here we have a slightly more traditional ad that was probably the 1960s, early 1970s. For Disney, and you can obviously see how that's progressed and changed over the years. The colors are very connective to what Disney offers. It's bright, it's fun, it's family. Just looking at it, we want to go and experience it for the day. So just take a hard look and make sure that none of your collateral is too word heavy. It's very visually strong. Unfortunately, people don't like to read these days. It's very disappointing to me. But the details are still very important to have within all of your brochures and flyers and collateral. In terms of imagery for your attractions, make sure that it's all storytelling. It should have action in the photo. This picture on the left, I love the actual water droplets just suspended in air. I'm a parent. I've been at these splash areas, and that just takes me right back to being with my kids and having fun. And at the Colonial Quarter, this is a truly unique experience. You can already tell that as a family, you're going to get to be hands-on with each other. You're going to get to learn. It's going to be different than what you do on a normal day. So any photography along those lines is very important. And visuals are going to be very strong. That's what you're going to have to need to sell somebody on booking a group to your attraction who's physically never been there before. It's going to be really important. I used to always pick on Matt in medieval times. We're very dear friends. And I absolutely love this photo. This photo was on one of his main website pages. And if you want to talk about action, the actual movement in this photo is out of this world. It's great. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this one, the pictures are very joyful. People are smiling, they're laughing. I love this picture of the kid at the canoe outpost. He's so happy to be camping for the weekend, and he's not doing any schoolwork or any homework. He's totally disconnected, so I love that. Experiential, of course, if you ever want good examples of media and content, Jennifer at Line Country and her team do an excellent job. I'm often perusing their websites and their brochures for inspiration and for ideas. Zoo Miami also does a fantastic job. So I like to steal their items as well. These are definitely once in a lifetime experiences that are going to be photo strong, right? People care a lot these days about the item being photo friendly and memorable that they could post or share to social media. And as attractions, it's quite honestly what we want also. Strong web content. This is something that, again, I don't think anyone's really missing at all. I've been on almost everybody's websites in FAA, and I think you're all doing a fantastic job. This one is just a visually strong landing page for Visit Florida. Quick, clean buttons, easy to find what you're looking for, easy to use links. None of the links are broken. Embedded videos are really fun. People really love video content. Janet, I just liked how this made me feel like I was at an orange grove the second I landed on her website. So this is really nice. I love all the circular motion. She carried over the circles from the oranges into all of her buttons, and all of her visuals and imagery is very smooth and clean. And also these short links at the bottom here are very helpful. Mary Selby Gardens. This one is one of my favorites. It makes me feel calm as soon as I get on their website. And this is actually a scrolling banner right here. And I just love how all the images are really large, and it just kind of catches your eye immediately. And they've done a fantastic job of the sub buttons up here connecting to blogs and newsletters. So this one's also one that I enjoy perusing. So earlier we mentioned a one-pager or a one-sheeter, and this is what we're talking about. This is if you have 10 minutes with a potential buyer for your tours and travel, this is something that you are going to put in their physical hands. This is going to be highlights of your attractions, highlights of your offerings. Your top 3 to 4 pictures are going to be on this. Anything that they need to know. Do you have a new attraction? Do you have something different that's going to be offered very soon? Do you have large bus capacity? So each one is going to want to know something different, but this is where you pinpoint and you do bullet points of your highlights, and then always include contact information in case they lose your business card or anything like that. So this is one example from Sahara Sam's. This is one example of mine. It's always a work in progress, but this is one that I currently have. This content is changed based on what trade show I'm going to and who I'm speaking with. So this one was meant for a motor coach style trade show for large escorted groups. So I touched, they also handled student groups. So I touched on it's great for all ages. We have ample parking. And then the information on the back is usually my packages and my pricing. And I alter that depending again on which show that I'm going to or who I'm speaking with. For the purposes of this show, you're going to be meeting a multitude of different types of buyers. So rates may not be appropriate on the back. You may just literally want to give them the one-sheeter with the information on the front. The back can always be, for example, with my attraction, I would make the backside nighttime tours. And since I have daytime and nighttime, I would do one on one side and one on the other. Or if you have an aquarium plus a museum, maybe one side focuses on your aquarium offerings and the other side focuses on like the hands-on museum side of it. So this is a very helpful tool to have when you're going to trade shows. This example was from when Nick worked back at iFly. This is the front and the back of the flyer. So here they literally included the per person rates because they knew what their target audience was with this flyer. And then it's bullet pointed, you know, scouting groups, corporate events, team building, kind of pique their interest and lend to any type of groups that they may potentially want to bring to you. If you offer net rates, mention net rates or commissionable rates. So that way they know that you're a good fit. For your content, the information you're going to physically leave in their hands. The one-sheeter is good, of course, a business card, but the industry standard right now tends to be something along the lines of like a USB. It doesn't have to be a custom, unique, crazy one like this. It can literally be ones that you could buy in bulk on Amazon or at Office Max or Office Depot. It should be loaded up with images that they are allowed to use to upload to a listing or to send off to a group to feature your attraction that you have permission to use. Videos, you can include either the YouTube link or embed the actual video if there's enough room on the USB so that they have the full-length video content. Press releases, anything recent about changes, upgrades, updates, anniversaries at your attraction. Sometimes this could be used for a media meeting at a trade show, so you want to have both on there. I always include a contact list. I include a way to reach me, my email address, our address, again, assuming they might have misplaced my business card. Menus, if you have catering, things like that, or just a regular, if you want to include the retail rates of a restaurant on site, that's great. And again, strong images, organized, maybe broken down by your different sub-activities, your sub-attractions through the park. And if you want to include translated content, if I know I'm meeting with an operator from a certain country, I will have the information in language on that specific USB for them to make sure that it's very user-friendly. Social media, I'm going to go through this very quickly. I honestly don't know if anyone needs any training in social media. I think you're all doing quite well. Again, the main image and the main graphic should never be pixelated. Visually very beautiful and very strong. Hours should always be included. Map and location, regular posts and interactions with your followers, of course. One that I always like to bring up that was so good that she thought to mention it is Jennifer from Line Country always warns about pre-scheduling posts. Unless you can quickly get access to turn off pre-scheduled posts, you never know when an emergency or a tragedy will occur. And it's never the good thing to be the attraction that's posting about what a sunny day it is when there's a tragedy, for example, like what happened with us in South Florida with Parkland. That's not the first thing you acknowledge after a tragedy. You always have to acknowledge the tragedy or figure out how your company wants to address the situation first before those regular posts just keep going up. That's kind of a good thing to have full control over. So you can pre-schedule them as long as you've got a good handle on it, or you have a management company that you can text literally in a matter of seconds and they can stop whatever they're doing and they can go into a freeze or go on hold. And I mentioned, of course, somebody that I always love to piggyback. Great video content is Line Country. I absolutely love some of the stuff that they do. Very interactive. You all have great stuff, actually. I've been having fun with everyone's social media. I try to follow and interact with as many of you as possible. Video content should have little or no verbiage. Don't forget that if there's talking in your video, as you expand on this side of the market and you go into multi-language, you either should have the content translated. You know, really almost any attraction and almost any hotel, there's really no need for talking in the videos. You're just showing them what you offer, families smiling, families laughing, so you can kind of leave that out of it. This is an example of one of our videos. It should be storytelling, point of view help, the point of view from the visitor to the attraction. What are they actually going to see when they come to your attraction, not necessarily only drone or only at a distance. So that's very helpful. It should be fun, playful, engaging. It should be true to the experience. Don't only show just the magical, like just show a regular like family sitting down at your restaurant and just having food at the restaurant. You know, it's okay to have it look polished, but it should be very truthful in what it offers and what the experience really is. The video should always be loaded up to YouTube. A lot of partners will tell you that they can't embed the full or raw footage of the video within their websites for the listings. They have to link and embed it via YouTube or another platform. So it's nice if you have that information ready for them. And again, that same thing we talked about, posting it on social media. That's our video. Okay, so this is the email contact information for myself and for Nick. Anytime you guys want to reach out to us, I know him and I pretty much work 7 days, so we're happy to get back to you as quickly as possible, answer your one-on-one questions. Sorry I've talked for so long. I'm sick of myself this week. So if anyone has any questions, though, please now speak up, ask me, you know, rip into us, you know, grab me, grab Nick, ask us what you got, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, Chrissy. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I was having problems with my phone. So does anyone have any questions on any of the things that Chrissy has gone over or that we discussed?
I do. This is Karen from Deering Estate. I am not able to get in to see any of the visuals. Is there a way that all of this could be emailed out after?
Mike, can they get that sent over to them if they email a request on it, or can we send it to the ones that participated today?
Yes, this webinar has been recorded. I'll post it on the website and I'll email it to you. And I'll also send you, I can also send you the PowerPoint presentation.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Daniel.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, this is Tracy from the Canyon Zip Line. I just got a quick question. Is it okay when you're saying, like you said, the 20 to 30% is kind of a lot for us, but is it something that we can break out into separate, you know, our tours that we actually can offer those big discounts of 30%? Can I offer it just, in other words, on a few of our tours and not necessarily all? How do you?
The best thing to do would be to choose a particular tour. You do not have to offer every tour to your operators. You might want to choose one or two, and those are the ones that are there. But then you can absolutely upsell those other projects to them down the line. But you should maybe do one or two that you can do it and feel comfortable with that discount that you have to do.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that may be a good starting point, or you can also tier the pricing. So for example, maybe on my standard airboat experience, I am comfortable offering 30%. However, on my exclusive private tours, I am only comfortable offering a 20% net. And as long as you explain that to the operator or whoever is going to be buying your product in advance, and I tell them, I'm sorry, the margins are more narrow, but it's simply because it's a $300 product. It's not a $20 product.
Right.
So the potential for revenue is significantly more, and it's a very strong selling product on different channels, but we can't structure the pricing as similar as we can for our general admission product. And they all understand that, and I have 215 contracts signed to that effect.
Wow.
So it's okay for you to propose what you are comfortable with. Some companies will tell you, no, we have a straight margin that we require and it has to be this margin. And for that, then you can tell them that's great. Then for that margin, these are the products that I'm comfortable selling on your channels. And then my more exclusive product, you just, you can upsell the customer when they come in the door, or like Nick said, whatever you're comfortable with. But my personal contract is actually structured. My pricing is tiered because I do have very high ticket exclusive experiences, and then I have a lower ticket general admission.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Everyone's so quiet. This is not like our people that we know. Normally, our
If there's no other
chiefs are very
questions,
talkative.
yeah, if there's no other questions, you're always able to email Chrissy and I. Our email addresses are on here. But this is the first of more that we're going to be doing. So please make sure that you have the rest of them on your schedule so that you do learn more and how to do this so that when you are at the show, you will have all your nuts and bolts are all together, all your in a row, and it might just question just to be perfect. And Chrissy and I will be at the show so that you're able to ask us, oh my God, what do we do? Well,
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, is
That's
everybody
wonderful.
all set?
Thank
Any
you.
other outstanding questions? No?
Thanks, guys. This is Tara from the port. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And Nick and I look forward to hearing from you. And we're going to do our best in the next 60 days or so to push it and get as many buyers as we can for you. So thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining.